Now, on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, former President Donald Trump has been charged with 13 counts as part of his latest indictment. And Lahaina residents starting to find some relief in open-air community centers after the devastating wildfires. Plus, a teen who survived a nearly 100-foot fall into the Grand Canyon is now out of the hospital.
Let's take a live view look here from Port Lavaca, looking across Port Lavaca Bay there. See the sailboats there, the Nautical Landings Marina. And we're watching the tropics for some possible development in the Gulf of Mexico. Give us some rainfall chances. Could be the case next week. We'll take a look coming up.
3 Victoria schools hosted volleyball games last night. We have highlights in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
I'm Trey Manning.
And today it's the 16th day of August 2023. The time is now 6:31 on our Wednesday morning. And today it's National Tell a Joke Day. So I have one prepared just for the occasion.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's the hottest letter in the alphabet?
Hottest letter, huh? I'll say H because that's the first letter in heat.
It's B because it makes oil boil.
Well, Carolina, you're just too much.
It's too silly. All right, Trey. Well, it's going to be pretty boiling outside. Pretty much like a record-setting boiling today.
Probably so. We could see a record high set today.
Don't let this fatigue catch you off guard because it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, just be safe out there. Of course, making sure everybody else is safe, but don't get too anxiety up about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Just you need to stay safe, of course, and that's be the best thing you can do. And right now, let's take another look at that nice view, courtesy of the Weatherbook site there in Port Lavaca. See the bay pretty calm this morning. A few fishermen are out there, way out there this morning, of course, and looking pretty good. Let's see if we can get this thing to turn if we can. Let's see, maybe there we go. And now the temperature is currently in the region, 80s along the mid and upper Texas coast, all the way from our area down to Aransas Pass and further south from there. 79 degrees in Victoria. We're actually down 1 degree since last half hour, and we'll be rising pretty rapidly starting now as the sun has come up and heat the atmosphere pretty rapidly. And we have the heat advisory going in effect at 12 noon today, once again for all the counties you see here in this peach color. Not quite sure why Goliad, Victoria, and the Calhoun counties was not included in the excessive heat in the heat advisory, because it's definitely going to be hot in our counties here, or even if you're out in the advisory area itself. Maybe a little bit of sea breeze, I guess is what they're thinking, around the Calhoun County area. Maybe they cool them off a few degrees, just a few degrees under the criteria, potentially. But that wouldn't be the case for Victoria and Goliad counties. But no matter where you are, you need to be careful out there, of course, and drink plenty of water, find some shade, reduce your activities if you can. One last look at the bus stop forecast. Getting about time for the bus to pick up the kiddos, take them to school. 80 degrees at the bus stops this morning. Dress cool for school. And in the hundreds, 101 potentially by the time we get to the afternoon, with heat advisory in effect by then. Stay cool, everybody. Full forecast comes up later on this half hour once again. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Former President Donald Trump has been charged with 13 counts as part of the indictment handed down in Fulton County, Georgia. Some of those counts include violating the Georgia RICO Act, conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit false statements in writings, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit filing false documents, and 3 counts of solicitation of a violation of oath by a public officer. Trump joins a long list of 19 individuals who were charged by the Fulton County grand jury. Trump, who is the current GOP 2024 frontrunner, has already been charged in 3 separate cases this year. Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. We'll learn more about Trump's latest set of charges later on Sunrise. Lahaina residents are starting to find some relief in open-air community centers after the devastating wildfires. A group of residents have set up a one-stop relief area for residents to get what they need to recover from the devastation. These include water, food, hygiene, and medical products, as well as mental health assistance. As cleanup efforts continue, search efforts are ongoing. Monday, search teams discovered the remains of a 99th fire victim. The deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than 100 years destroyed or damaged more than 2,200 buildings, 86% of them residential, causing an estimated $5.5 billion in damage. A teen who survived a nearly 100-foot fall into the Grand Canyon is now out of the hospital. Last week, 14-year-old Wyatt Kaufman says he had fallen while moving out of the way so people could take pictures. He said he was squatting down and holding onto a rock with one hand when he lost his grip and started to fall back. It took nearly 2 hours and nearly 40 emergency personnel to get him out and into an ambulance. Wyatt suffered 9 broken vertebrae, a ruptured spleen, a broken hand, and a collapsed lung. Tuesday at around 3:20 p.m., the Victoria Police Department responded to a residence in the 2900 block of Bluebonnet Drive where they were conducting a death investigation. A body was found and authorities do not believe there was any threat to the public. No other details have been released. The court hearing for 4 former Industrial ISD students was postponed on Tuesday morning. The 4 former baseball players are indicted on charges of organized criminal assault. The hearing will now take place on September 13th. 4 men are accused in an assault on April 27th as the Cobra baseball team returned home from a game. The Texas Education Agency is also investigating how district administrators handled the report. A controversial law passed by Texas legislators facing a legal challenge before it takes effect in a few weeks. The measure would ban gender-affirming care for children, a treatment that red states across the country have targeted in recent months.
This lawsuit against the controversial ban on gender treatment for minors was considered all but inevitable. Even the bill's author, Senator Donna Campbell, issued a statement last month saying she had anticipated a legal pushback. But now, just weeks before that law takes effect, enforcement of the measure could be in jeopardy.
Imagine you are receiving medical care. You're doing well, and all of a sudden you're told, wait, we actually have to stop, even though every doctor you have seen and every major medical association has supported this law.
Governor Greg Abbott signed the measure, known as Senate Bill 14, into law back in June. The ACLU filed the lawsuit the next month, but the controversy and the pushback goes back much further than that.
We saw clinics closing, doctors fearing that their license would be stripped from them, and parents truly having a crisis on their hands.
Attorneys for the state declined to do an interview with us, but they began laying out their case late this afternoon, with the bulk of their argument expected tomorrow. Today, the plaintiffs suing the state presented several doctors and parents of trans kids to tell the court about gender treatment and what implementing SB 14 would mean for them. And this conversation is one that's being had nationwide. Several Republican-led states have passed policies like SB 14, bans on gender-related treatment for minors, and many have faced similar legal battles.
It plays well with sectors of the conservative base within the
All right, let's take a look at our viewer poll. We want to know, do you support gender-affirming care for minors? Okay, let's take a look. 16% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Eyewitness footage shared on social media showed forest fires raging on a mountain in Spain's Canary Islands today. The local weather agency had last week warned of significant increases in temperatures in the region due to an air mass of tropical continental origin. An uncontrollable wildfire that started on July 15th on La Palma, part of the Canary Islands, forced the evacuation of at least 4,000 people from villages. Firefighters eventually brought it under control by the end of the month. The death toll from heavy rainfall in India's northern Himachal Pradesh state has risen to 60. Speaking on camera, the state's chief minister told a news agency that bodies continue to be recovered from the site of a landslide following a cloudburst Monday. He added that schools would remain closed until weather conditions improve. Himachal Pradesh has been one of the worst hit states this monsoon season. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:39 on your Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. The search for Susie Escobedo continues. Plus, the stage is now set for former President Trump's 4th arrest.
Take a look at the tropics. We see several areas of potential development to there off the African coast between there and the Lesser Antilles, and one closer to us in the Gulf of Mexico. Could that bring us some rainfall? Well, check the possibilities coming up in your forecast. Good morning. 6:41 is the current time, and we're looking at the tropics here. Now we're in the prime time of hurricane season when most systems develop in the tropical Atlantic basin from about middle part of August through September. So we have a lot to look at already. It's been pretty quiet so far in the season, but they'll probably be changing as you can head forward the next couple of days. This disturbance here doesn't look like too much, and there's not really too much to it as of yet. But looking like the overall the environment will be better for development as they head toward the next couple of days down the road, as we see it moving into the Gulf of Mexico. One of the reasons why it does have a good chance for development, and one of the reasons that it doesn't, I'll share right here. A good chance for development because it's a very warm water temperature in the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that. All these purple colors here, the dark reds and purple colors, average to a water temperature about 90 degrees in the Gulf, so just prime warm fuel for that type of system to get going. But one thing that may hinder it though, or keep it weak, is this continued Saharan dust coming in from Africa across the Atlantic basin into the Gulf of Mexico. This has dry air, and dust is not conducive to really getting a system in the tropics going, so it has one positive, one negative aspect. But maybe if it holds together and brings some rainfall coming up next week, before forecast comes around a little bit later on this half hour before we go. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. The volleyball season is in its early stages, and our sports team has the highlights.
At Crossroads, Victoria East Lady Titans hosted the Hallettsville Lady Brahmas, hoping to keep its win streak alive. East came out strong in each set, and each one was competitive, but the Lady Titans would pull out a victory in each set and sweep the Lady Hallettsville Brahmas to win 25-17, 25-14, and 25-16. East Silo Fort had 18 digs on the night, and 3 different Lady Titans had 5 kills on the night, including Madeline Samuto, who had 12 digs, 5 kills, and 11 assists. The Lady Titans are going to Floresville to prepare for a tournament starting on Friday. And also a Victoria volleyball team hosted another local team, and that's the St. Joseph Lady Flyers and the St. Joe Dome. It was a battle between 2 undefeated teams, and it was St. Joe's home opener, as number 11 Addison Ozuna had a big night with 15 kills and 4 digs. Number 14 Jayana Phillips for Yoakum also had a big night, including that spike you just saw. The second set went down to the wire with a final score of 27-25, with the Lady Flyers barely pulling out the win. The Lady Flyers would go on to sweep, and Ozuna hit a milestone of hitting her 1,000th varsity kill. St. Joseph won 25-11, 27-25, and 25-17. Crosstown, the West Lady Warriors taking on a team it beat a week ago. West almost got the brooms out against East Bernard in this one, but it took the non-district matchup in 4 sets. West was dominant in this set, winning 25-9. The girls left it all on the court in front of the West Warriors fans and laying out all over the court for every ball and fighting for every point. West would win it in the end in 3 sets. Hannah Lace led the way with 18 kills. Madison Christensen, phenomenal with 23 assists. West will take on Manor in the Bastrop tournament starting on Thursday. That's your 25 Sports Now.
Thank you, Gino. All right, experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can stream it daily to see our newscast, and you can also see much more of our content. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. The stage is now set for former President Trump's 4th arrest. Trump now has 9 days to surrender to officials in Georgia on a sweeping racketeering indictment. And the sheriff says he plans for the former president, to have his mugshot taken like any other defendant. Trump is still claiming he has proof of election fraud, as he and 18 others are accused of a criminal conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia.
This morning, the sheriff's office in Fulton County, Georgia, announcing former President Donald Trump and 18 alleged co-conspirators are expected to turn themselves in by the district attorney's deadline Friday, August 25th. The sheriff's office says it's expected that all 19 defendants named in the indictment will be booked at the Rice Street Jail. The racketeering indictment accuses Trump of applying pressure on officials for weeks to overturn election results, including 11 phone calls, one to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes which is one more that we have, because we won the state.
White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who set up that call,
Mr. President, everybody is on the line,
is now moving to have the case against him tried in federal court. Trump has remained defiant, using the charges as ammo on the campaign trail.
Every time one of these new sets of charges comes out, his fundraising numbers, they go up. He goes up in the polls.
This as Trump's former lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, also charged, is on defense.
I thought when I was doing this, I was protected by the fact I was defending him.
Experts say although we are in the middle of an election, jurors will be focused on facts, not politics.
Juries always surprise me with how good and fair they are, and we'll see what happens with this case. But if he's taking this lightly, or anyone's taking this lightly, that's a huge mistake, because this is a very serious crime with very serious implications.
The Fulton County DA says she wants to try this case in 6 months and that she intends to try all 19 defendants at the same time. It is possible that some defendants could take a plea deal before it goes to trial. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
The search for Seadrift local Susie Escobedo continues. She was declared missing August 2nd back in 2018. Her family has been searching for answers ever since. It's been 5 years, and the family has grown frustrated over what they call a lack of police response and urgency. The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office says they understand the family, but there's only so much that they can do, seeing as leads have gone cold and witnesses refuse to speak.
Literally lost sleep over this case. I mean, I was assisting with some of the social media messaging between people that were involved in this early on, and you find things and you think you got a really good lead, and then somebody decides, well, I'm not going to say anything, and it's frustrating because you feel like you're on the right track, and all of a sudden they pull the rug out from under your feet.
The police department is asking for anyone with information to come forward. Tips will remain anonymous. The time is now 6:48 on your Wednesday morning. Still to come. Those hoping for a chance to see Cloudgate will now need to wait several months.
Good morning, Trey Mining here. Take a look at the feel-like temperatures throughout the day. Definitely triple digits by the afternoon, as we have been seeing pretty much all summer long. 107 or so by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and 106 to 107 by the 4, 5, 6 p.m. hour. And rainfall, well, not in our forecast today. I thought we'd have a few rain showers, but looks like the atmosphere will be drier than once anticipated. So we're keeping the sunshine in, a few high clouds from time to time. But just hang on, folks. Next week looks like it'll be a pretty good chance of some rain headed our way desperately. So we're needing that around here. 104 for the daytime high. Triple digit heat index value 110 to 111 in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies and hot, sums it up very well. Overnight lows will be near 80 degrees. Sunny, nope, not sunny at night. It's clear at night. And then for your Thursday, sunny skies again. 102, very hot temperatures. Keep that heat safety tip in mind. And look at this coming up by Monday and Tuesday. Good rainfall chances, hopefully, which will give us some soaking rains, something we need around here. In the meantime, try your best to stay cool in the heat.
Those hoping for a chance to see Chicago's famous giant shiny silver bean will be out of luck for the next several months. Access to and views of Cloudgate or the Bean will be limited as Granger Plaza undergoes construction. The city is planning to replace pavers, making accessibility upgrades, and perform other routine maintenance on the plaza, which surround the sculpture in Millennium Park. Construction began Tuesday and is set to run through spring of 2024. X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, has reportedly been slowing down access to rival sites. That's according to an analysis from the New York Times. The slowness, known as throttling, initially affected rival social networks including Facebook, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Also affected the newsletter site Substack and a handful of news outlets, including the New York Times. According to the Times, the delay to load links from X lasted about 4.5 seconds. It was first noticed by users. The delays for news sites appeared to have been lifted by Tuesday afternoon. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. It's the end of the road for a Midwestern milkman. It's the end of the road for a Midwestern milkman. Tom Schwartz has been hauling milk from family-owned farms to buyers all over southern Wisconsin since 1996. That's when he took over the business that his dad started after World War II. But now Schwartz ready to retire and spend more time with family. His advice to the next generation: if you like something, stick with it. A find with sentimental value. Low tide on South Carolina's 2nd Avenue Pier in Myrtle Beach has revealed rocks and shells that are 80,000 to 100,000 years old. Researchers say a lot can be learned from the historic beach, like ice age sea levels and changing environments. Not much qualification and maybe a little bias before Australia and England kicked off the Women's World Cup semifinal. A koala named Matilda picked Australia to win the match. The Joey is named after the women's soccer team, which is nicknamed the Matildas. Matilda the koala previously predicted the Matildas would beat France in the quarterfinals. Next up, Sunday's final, where Spain already sealed its spot. ERCOT extended a weather watch for a second straight week. ERCOT extended the weather watch through Friday, the extension due to 100+ degree high temps, higher electrical demand, and the potential for lower reserves. ERCOT says power grid conditions are expected to be normal during a weather watch. The National Weather Service issues excessive heat warnings for 2 area counties. DeWitt and Jackson counties under excessive heat warnings from noon until 9 o'clock tonight. The National Weather Service says temperatures up to 107 degrees are expected. Wednesday and Thursday. There will be off and on closures at the intersection of Ben Wilson and Red River Street so that utility improvements can be made. It's all part of the $7.2 million Ben Wilson Street to Airline Road to U.S. Highway Business 59 project. A new company appears to be recruiting social media influencers to parrot claims supporting Ken Paxton to support and to promote a series of videos alleging that the Texas legislature is secretly controlled by Democrats intent on destroying Paxton. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And let's go ahead and turn to Trey for a look at our forecast. Trey?
And thank you so much. To take a look at the temperatures today, 104 for the daytime high in Victoria, around the region as well. Triple-digit heat index value, 111 or so by the afternoon time. Be careful out there. We're at lows in the upper 70s again. And then for your day tomorrow, more heat, 102 for your Thursday. We'll keep that going through the weekend. But look at this, some pretty good rain chances. So far, it looks like that could be the case. Coming up by Monday and Tuesday, 50% chances as some tropical moisture in some form moves toward the Texas coast. We're looking forward to that. In the meantime, try your best to stay cool. Triple-digit heat index values today and right on through the weekend. Have a great day and be safe out there. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful and safe day away from the sun. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join James, Dawn, Mac, Karina, and Gino today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.